What's up, everyone? It is your girl Kia Marie. Welcome to the channel, and today we are talking about the drama and the tea that went on Love is Blind season 2. Now, we are not openly saying anything bad about any of the people that was on the show. However, I do feel like the drama is like what really keeps the show going. I just want to talk about some of the things that went on during the show and what happened after the show. So we are going to start with the couple, Danielle and Nick. Okay, so actually we're not talking about them as a couple. We're going to address them individually because I feel like, none of the couples, are still together on the show. So we're going to talk about them individually because I feel like that's the right thing to do. So let's talk about Danielle. I love Danielle personally so much. I personally feel bad about the things that she went through. Because me, as someone that struggles with mental health issues as well, I don't think that it is fair for someone to literally sit there and point out her mental health issues and point out her insecurities. That's not fair to anyone. I don't think anyone should ever point that out if it's something that someone is clearly struggling with. And what I don't like about is specifically talking about Danielle is that she is often labeled as crazy and has mental health issues. I'm just gonna quickly touch on this real quick. I don't think so. I disagree with that statement. I love Danielle. I do not think she's crazy at all. Everybody has their own way of how they react to things and how they handle things. There is such things that goes on in this world that is called triggers, and some people don't know how to handle certain situations. I was making sure, girl. I thought my camera just turned off. Okay, so I think everybody has their own way of how they react to certain situations, and sometimes people are just not equipped on how to handle certain situations, and I think that's specifically talking about Danielle, that's what I see openly. I don't think they should everybody reacts to certain situations very different. I don't think she should be called out for mental health struggles or called out for insecurities. I think sometimes people just go through things, and they just don't know how to handle it. They're not equipped to deal with it. So the next person we are going to be talking about is Mallory. Very well, from what I saw on the show, I don't think that she deserved what she went through on the show. I don't think she deserved that at all. I personally was pro Mallory. Salvador, not so much. Mallory, I was pro Mallory. I wanted her to succeed on that show, because from what I see, I think Mallory deserves the world. I really do, because Mallory, from what I've seen on the show, is a very well put together person. I think the way she handles certain situations on the show is very, very, very incredible, and I admire that, in her. She was overall my favorite. In her and Sal's relationship, it did not work. Sal said no to Mallory at the altar. That's just what happened. I think the way, and I just want to point this out, I think the way Mallory handled herself at the altar, looking back on the show, was absolutely incredible. The way she handled it, and I looked at him and said, it's okay. She handled it very, very well. That's why I say she's a very well put together person. There are rumors out there, but there is no proof that those rumors are necessarily true. Let's talk about Sal's new girlfriend real quick, because as much as I don't want to admit it, it does tie into the show a little bit. I think the reunion episode, not the reunion episode, I think the after the altar episode is the one I'm specifically talking about. I do not think, is her name Jessie? I think her name's Jessie. I am personally not a big, I am not a big fan of Jessie. I am not, openly calling her out, but I do think, in the after the altar episode, the way she handled herself with Mallory, what I'm saying is that I think there was a better way to handle that situation. And of course, Mallory, being the sweet person that she is, she handled it very, very well, kept herself put together. But Jessica, Jessie, I don't feel like that she handled herself very well. What I will say about Jessie is that, I don't think that I think she's a very talented girl, is what I will say. But I'm not on here trashing her. All I'm saying is, like, looking back on that After the Altar episode, you know, I don't think the way she handled herself with Mallory was very well handled. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Nick. There has been a lot of drama revolving around Nick, you know, from what I've seen, you know, him regarding the way he talks about Danielle on social media. I think the way he handles himself on social media, he did open up about his mental health struggles as well, which is very, very well respected. However, the way he has handled himself with the Danielle situation is very unacceptable. You know, they said it all came down to compatibility differences. Oh my God. Sorry, that was supposed to be pronounced very different. Okay, it all came down to differences. And, you know, but I do think, you know, there's rumors out there, you know, I have not, like, directly looked into it, but from what I understand, the way he has handled himself on social media regarding her is, like, completely unacceptable. Iyanna. I personally saw really, really big growth, like maturity in Iyanna. I have definitely saw like so much maturity through Iyanna throughout the episode. You know, the way she handles herself in situations, you know, I have seen growth in her, like compared to like seen from the first episode, like throughout the rest of the season. You know, the way she handled herself with Jared at the end of the situation, you know, she had a right, you know, to move out of that house when she felt that, like, you know, there was differences there, you know, like him like staying out all night, like drinking with friends, you know, and her moving out due to that reason, you know. That is completely like acceptable, you know. When it comes, let's talk about Iyanna and Jared's relationship for a second. Iyanna handled herself in a very mature way, and she did try to make it work with Jared, but it all came down to differences is what I feel like. And, you know, openly like talking about like Iyanna and Jared, you know, I think whenever you are a couple, especially a married couple, that it all comes down to like, you know, communication. You have to have strong communication, and if it's not there, you know, it's done, you know. And I'm saying, like, I saw, you know, now speaking on Jared, and we're going to talk about Jared later on. I did see, like, at the final After the Altar episode, you know, I did see, you know, where he tried to put an effort, and like I think that is seen, but I don't know very much about what happened like after the episode, but I think it all came down to communication issues and like him, you know, I don't know for sure if he changed or if he did not change. Let's talk about Deepti. I think Deepti is the most, I am definitely, like the one I am definitely the most impressed with is Deepti. I love Deepti so much. I am impressed with the way she handled herself with Shake, like very impressed. The way, like at the altar, she openly said that I choose myself. That is a very powerful statement, and like it's admirable, and it surely is. Like other women should like look up to her. You know, I don't think she deserved like what Shake put her through, and we're gonna talk about Shake, you know, later on. However, you know, she's a very incredible woman, and she deserves the world. So please read her book. Kyle. You know, talking about Kyle, I think Kyle got treated the worst on the show when it comes to Shayna. I don't think he deserved that. You know, when he, I don't think he deserved that when he proposed to Shayna. I think, you know, they just wanted, oh, that is not what my person took notes on that says that. That's not what that said. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try again. I think Kyle got treated the worst on the show when it comes to Shayna. I don't think that Shayna treated him very well. I don't think he deserved that. You know, he has stated on the show, like, when it came down to the reunion, that, like, he wished he proposed to Deepti. You know, I think he felt very strongly about Deepti. I think, you know, him and Deepti did try to pursue a relationship after the show based on the research that I did, you know. However, you know, it all came down, they wanted different things in life, and, you know, now he's in a private relationship. And, you know, he has the right to keep that relationship private 100% with whoever it is. So let's talk about Salvador, because I don't think I talked about that. I think I skipped over it a little bit. There was rumors that Mallory got caught drunk with a guy in a car, but Mallory, stated that, like, he is always playing the victim. That's what, was stated in the reunion, after the altar. I'm sorry, I keep getting that wrong. I am personally not, I'm not a fan of his new relationship, because I think the way Mallory got treated was wrong. And, Mallory said he always played the victim. However, she denied the incident that went on in the car. But, like, there is no evidence of anything. But me personally, I don't think that Mallory would have done that. Alright, let's talk about Shake. Shake is in a new relationship. He seems to be happy. I do hope, he is not just in it for the physical attraction. I don't like the way he, I'm personally not a fan of him on the show. I'm sorry. Because, I don't think you should never say yes, like, to your partner and, like, 100% for the, if you know that you're not, interested. I did not hit her. I just was moving her away from my phone. You should never say, like, yes to your partner, especially on something big when it comes to marriage, or even get down on, like, one knee, if you don't think that there's something there, But it all comes down to emotional connection, and I do think he was on the show for the wrong reasons, On the show, I think the way that, like, I think the way he presents himself on the show is, like, what made him look bad, like, to be honest. And, like, he is not, he made it known that he's not physically attracted to her. And, like, respectfully, like, this is Love is Blind. This is not Love is Blurry, like he said. This is Love is Blind. You're on there to find true love, trying to form an emotional connection. And, he was just on the wrong show, I feel like. He did just personally come on the show for wrong reason. He stated, he was looking for more of a Love is Blurry, and, that's just not what you come on that show for. He is from what I understand, he's going to, this is not confirmed. From what I understand, he's a new host on the show for season 3 Love is Blind, but I don't know that for sure. Let's talk about Shayna, who is now happily married. Now, I do hope she found her happiness. However, there was a lot of drama regarding messages between her and Shane. However, it was never, confirmed. It was never proven. This was stated by Natalie. Natalie has spoken and said there was messages between him and Shayna. However, there was individuals on the show that have never actually seen the messages. So, what I will say, about Shayna throughout the show, I think, she did Kyle wrong, because, her and Kyle were, like, trying to pursue a marriage, and I think that, like, she broke up with him for the wrong reasons, I do think, it came down to differences, but, like, it would have never worked between her and Kyle. She wanted, like, a religious person, and it just wasn't that, But I do think, like, she could have tried a little bit harder. I do notice that she was real indecisive on the show. And she also claimed to Shane that him and Natalie had a fake relationship. Let's talk about Shane. Natalie said no at the altar the night before because he said that he hated her. However, I did not do further research on that. I don't know if Shane's in a new relationship. Feel free to comment down below. I don't know what's going on with Shane, but I do know they were kind of trying to expose him a little bit on the reunion. Like, if you haven't, like, seen that yet, I from what I understand, he looks very uncomfortable. But is it because he's hiding something? I do not know. What I do I don't know. I'm just gonna stop right there. Okay, so let's talk about Natalie, because we did talk about Shane. Natalie, you know, I don't think, you know, Shane made Natalie cry on the reunion, and I don't think she deserved that. However, you know, I did not do any like deep research on Natalie. You know, I did not really get close to like her on the show, so I don't really know anything about her. You know, but I do think like she deserves the world, you know, and like I don't think that she deserved that at all when it came down to the Shane situation, you know. But the night before you marry somebody, you should never, regarding the situation, you should never say that you hate somebody. And you know, because y'all were about to be married, you know, that's an issue you should have worked out a long time ago, like, you know. But that's all I'm gonna say on that end. Let's talk about Jarrette. From what I understand, Jarrette did openly try to change. However, I think it all came down to differences. You know, it's very, you know, none of these couples are engaged. From what I understand, with Nick and Danielle's relationship, someone did file for divorce. And Ayanna and Jarrette's relationship, they both, like, they filed for divorce as well. You know, but also update on Kyle and Natalie, I believe. From what I understand, they are not on talking terms. From what I understand. But what I will say, you know, with Jarrette is that he did, you know, I think he put an effort to change, but I think it all came down to differences. If your man's is out drinking every night, you know, and it's an issue there, and, you know, the wife does not like that, you know, that's going to be a huge problem there. And I think that, you know, it all comes down to effort and compatibility. Anyways, this is all I'm going to say about the Love is Blind drama. Again, we are not, like, saying anything negative about the show. You know, we are just, like, talking about it a little bit and, like, talking about our opinion on it. You know, anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a big thumbs up. Please watch Love is Blind Season 2, you guys, if you haven't watched it yet. Please feel free to sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding. Bye, you guys.